it will have the strongest and one of the powerful antidotes to pain. Everything passes.
If you can do it because you have so much love for
It
yourself,
usually starts with something that's grief.
Hi, I'm Boy Abunda, and I'd like to speak with you with words spoken mula sa puso. Saying no is a right, or you have the right to say no. When someone asks you to do something wrong, and you know it is wrong, remember you have the right to say no. We know that there are vulnerable young girls and boys who dream of becoming stars in the entertainment business. When someone comes to you and says, you want to be a star? Come sleep with me. Or you want to be a big star? Pay me this amount of money because I can get you into movies, television shows. You know, these are lies. You have the right to say no. I remember doing an interview with a young movie star, and she told me the story that one day she went to the office of a producer who was doing a movie, and during the interview, he started to touch her. She was angry. She was fuming mad. Ran out of the office and promised not to go back anymore to the producer's office. A few years later, she went back to the business, did auditions, read for parts until she got a few small roles. And then she realized that the entertainment business was not for her. I think today she is into business. But when someone tells you that you have to do certain things if you want to achieve stardom, don't believe. Because chances are she is lying. So, if somebody comes to you and says, you have to raise this amount of money, and some did raise some amounts of money for their children to get into the business only to realize that they were duped. Niloko lamang sila. And some people would say, no, but you have to kiss me, or you have to spend some time with me. We have to have some private moments for me to be able to sell you to producers, agents, managers. If you think you're being abused, if you think it is wrong, you have the right to say no. Let's talk about contracts. You work in a company, and I'm trying to close a deal, and, there's a contract that needs to be signed. And somebody comes to you and says, you want to shortcut the process of covering 7 floors of this building, pay this amount of money, it'll be easier, and you will secure the contract. Or somebody says, all you have to do is call my boss, and he'll talk to you about how to close this contract. You know that something is wrong. And when something is wrong, and when you know it, you have the right to say no. Because saying no is a right. One day in your life, someone comes to you and says, I notice that you're lonely. I notice that you're looking for something. Or it seems like you have problems. You want to have some fun and joy like you've never experienced before? Join us. You know he's talking about drugs. You know that doing drugs is wrong. Say no. Because saying no is your right. We've heard a lot of horror stories. Let's learn from the horrible experiences of others. When someone comes to you asking you to do something wrong, saying no is your right. Number 2, some people make you feel guilty because you have the means, you have become a little successful, you have become a lawyer or a doctor or an entrepreneur. May kaya ka na because you worked hard for it and you saved for the rainy days. But people demand, relatives, friends, and even people who don't know you or you don't know, I remember a conversation of Oprah and a lady judge who was in the audience of one of her shows. According to the judge, she had 4 siblings, and up to that very day, she was taking good care of her siblings because according to her father, to whom much is given, much is required. So when Oprah said, you have to learn how to say no, and you have to learn how to take good care of yourself, because how can you give anything to others, in this case your siblings, if you have nothing? And I remember that particular story because the judge said it's almost impossible to say no, especially when people make you feel guilty. Buti ka pa, sunerte ka, buti ka pa, may pagkakataon ka. Using your little success as a reason to make you guilty. When you are in a situation like this, you have to say no. Of course, you have to share, you have to give, but not all. Because people can abuse you. Remember, you have to fill your cup first before you can share anything with others. A very important lesson I learned from Oprah. And third, when someone imposes himself on you, and you know it is wrong, say no. Because you'll get into trouble. For example, you hear someone say, you know, you gotta do this because I did it. Even if what he did was wrong, because he wants you to do it, otherwise you're not going to be a member of the pack, say no, because it's wrong. Or somebody requires you to say something you don't believe in, simply because she said it, again because you have to blend and you have to be part of the gang, and you know it is wrong, you have to say no, because saying no is your right. Or somebody imposes his belief on you. He says, you gotta believe in this, otherwise you're not my friend. And when he says this, you know it is wrong. You have to say no. Naalala ko po yung kwento ni Maya Angelou, the great poetess, the great woman of literature. Sabi niya, the most important lesson I taught my son was when he was a boy, he complained that he had no friends. Her first advice was, if you want to have friends, you have to be a friend first. The second one is, you cannot allow anybody to be nasty to you. There has to be something inside you that cannot be violated. There has to be some space that is pristine, that is clean. That is a place where you go when you want to meet with God. It is a place that is inviolable. Remember, you have to have that space within you. So, sometimes you have to say no to be able to protect that space, that clean, sacred, inviolable place within you. So don't forget that. Saying no is a right. And also, saying no is power. Thank you. Once again, this is Boy Abunda, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you with words spoken mula sa puso. Be kind, be blessed, make your nanay proud, and goodbye for now.